Viking hair. All right, I think we finally got on the other here, so get more focused. I live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Did you mean that in a bad way? Do you even live in Alabama? That's how I took it. Hey, Liz, how are you? I was just messing with you, Anna. But yes, I do live in Alabama. Yes, definitely Roll Tide territory. That's what got me to Tuscaloosa. As soon as I graduated high school, I came here to go to UA, and then after I finished there, I stayed. That was a long time ago now. What's up, Gulf Shores? I don't think I have any updates on Travis Burks. I am going to be, Carson is going to be, we're going to record a podcast tomorrow. I don't know when I'll get it out, but we're recording it tomorrow. So I think that'll be interesting. It'll be out before the end of this week for sure. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but it just depends on how fast I can get it out. What's up, Monica? Johnny Glass? That doesn't sound familiar to me. Hey, Carolyn. What's up, Karen? Orange Beach. Hey, Ann. How's Arkansas today? A lot of South. Got Foley, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. Hey, Becky. Hey, thank you, Charlie. I did live in Florence for like 3 months. We moved to North Alabama for a few years, and when we first got there, we rented a house in Florence till we bought one in Franklin and Russellville. A lot of Orange Beach tonight. So, and I'm not going to get back into it because we've gone over and over it about the city council meeting last week in Orange Beach. But I was finishing up a full podcast I'm doing on it this evening, and I caught something that I'd not caught before that Tony Keenan said, and I wonder if anyone else caught it. Where when he is talking about when he goes into his nonsense, these lawsuits are not about me. And he talks about the first lawsuit, and he's like, this is not about me. This is about just general body camera footage, all this BS. And then he says, don't let me misquote. I want to say exactly what he said. Oh, and then he says the second lawsuit against me, which would obviously imply the first lawsuit is against you as well. I mean, it is, but he was saying it wasn't. In fact, he said it is absolutely false that it is about me. And then literally the next sentence is the second lawsuit about me or against me. And so he said it, he told it right there and didn't realize it. And it took me, I mean, I've watched that 10 times probably, and I finally caught it. Every time when you're analyzing things like that, every single time you watch it or listen, you're going to catch something else. Every single time. So when you just watch something for the first time or listen to something for the first time, you're going to miss a lot of things. That's why you have to watch it and listen to it over and over and over again. And pretty much every time you're going to catch something new. But I still cannot believe that he just blatantly lied that easy and that smooth about trying to say that those things weren't about him and trying to say that he wasn't the target of the lawsuit when he is literally named in the lawsuit personally. But it's crazy. But I caught that, and I wonder if anyone else had caught it. Jennifer's parents, Sam and Shirley Locke, said thank you to everyone for keeping them in prayer and keeping Jennifer's story alive. So Monica is, if y'all have not listened to her podcast, Time Tells All, make sure you go and you listen to it. It's an amazing podcast, and it's her first season. She is telling the story about the disappearance of Jennifer. Forgive me. It's been a long day. I can't remember her last name. But was today the anniversary of her missing, or was it yesterday, Monica? Jennifer Powers. That's it. That's her name. Yeah, so the anniversary date of her going missing was yesterday. And how many years has it been now, Monica? I know it was it 2007 when she went missing? Tracy, your words have meanings too. See, it's telling what you just said. Your statement, you said a liar will always tell on himself every time. 18 years. Wow. But Tracy, so that tells me that you, in your mind, look at men. You think men lie a lot more than women. That was your subconscious telling us that. Have I watched the Heart of Dixie OBA? I have not. I've never heard of that. I know you do. I told you. You told on yourself. Oh, let's pull that up. Wendy's rant about my coverage of Orange Beach, because I was going to pull that up Friday night and I forgot. So let's check that out. All right. Get it pulled up now. So this is the post Wendy Pickering. Oh, hold on, I did that wrong. There we go. So I think this would have been the day after I did the live where I discussed all of this. So Wendy, for context, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, there's way too much to go into about what's going on in Orange Beach, Alabama right now. It all has to do with the current mayor, Tony Keenan. And Wendy is a private investigator who got up and spoke, acting as an advocate against releasing body cam footage at the city council meeting last week. The problem is, literally before she went into this rant about how they shouldn't be releasing body camera footage because the precedent it would set to just be horrible, she literally says, part of my daily job, I'm constantly requesting body cam footage. Now, I covered all of that in a couple lives, and I'm also about to put out a full podcast on it, so I don't want to go back through all of it. But Wendy's full of it, and some people believe, and it sounds like they have good reason to believe, that Wendy, as a private investigator, has been paid, not directly, but under the table, by Tony Keenan to literally follow around 3 of the city council members because those 3 filed an ethics complaint against Tony Keenan. Now, with the way she gets up and inserts herself into this during the city council meeting and her responses and her answers, and then Tony Keenan's response to all of it, that happened. I would bet a lot on it. My professional expert opinion, they're both full of shit. And it happened. Both of them somewhat think that nobody can prove it, but they're not sure nobody can prove it. And you can tell that. But anyway, so this is her responding back to that. For the record, Derek, I'm disappointed that you chose to discuss me publicly without ever contacting me to verify a single fact. You questioned my credibility, implied I was lying during my city council comments. I don't think I implied you were lying. I think I was pretty clear when I said you are lying. I think it's different than implying. Anyway, suggested I was the female investigator working for Mayor Tony Keenan, and repeated insinuations that I was the woman in the body-worn camera footage. None of those allegations are true. Now, she is wrong there. There was not repeated insinuations that she was the woman in the body-worn camera footage. Number one, I don't know. I don't think there's a woman in the footage. I think there's something in the footage that I think Wendy believes there's something in that footage that would be harmful to her. So, just to be clear on that. Then she says, for the record, I've never been hired or paid by Mayor Tony Keenan. I have never investigated anyone on his behalf. I have never been involved in any conspiracy involving the mayor or the city of Orange Beach. I was not the woman depicted in the body-worn camera footage, if there even is one. I already said it when Wendy got up and gave this speech, these statements. Sometimes people need a really intelligent friend that will just be honest with them and say, hey, maybe you should just shut up and not get up there, because people are going to be able to see through that. And a lot of times it's when you're not wanting to be honest about something, it's way better just to stay quiet about it. Trust me on that. Because by Wendy posting this, then this gives me the chance to fully analyze, do a statement analysis on this, which I'm really good at, versus just trying to read her body language and stuff standing in a meeting with no baseline. This is completely different. Now, I've not done that with this yet. I haven't even fully really read it until just now. I've been meaning to, but I haven't. I've glanced over it. But I can already tell. Notice what she's not denying here. She's been accused by a current city councilwoman of following, stalking, whatever, these 3 city council members. Notice that's not something she denies. That is the allegation. That's the most important allegation. She doesn't deny that in this. That's very telling. Then she says, I've never been hired or paid by Mayor Tony Keenan. Those are the same thing. So she feels the need to, what I call, over-provide information to try to prove she's being honest. I've never been hired or paid. Those go hand in hand. If you've been hired, then you were paid. So that's a red flag. It's just one red flag, but that's a red flag. I've never investigated anyone on his behalf. We're not talking about anyone. And I know a lot of you are thinking this is the same thing. No, we're not talking about anyone. We're talking specifically about 3 city council members. When you are specifically discussing certain people or a certain person, then that's who the conversation should stay on. When it starts drifting off, when pronouns start changing, that's red flags. So if she would have said here, I have never investigated these 3 city council members, then I would think maybe she is being honest. But she says anyone. We're not talking about anyone. We're literally specifically talking about 3 people. I've never been involved in any conspiracy involving the mayor or the city of Orange Beach. Nobody's called this a conspiracy. That's an interesting choice of word. I was not the woman depicted in the body-worn camera footage. For the most part, I don't know that anybody is saying that any woman was depicted in it. Almost everybody that I've discussed this with, that I've seen talk about it, pretty much agrees that there probably wasn't a woman on there because the police didn't ask to see her. And then she says, if there even is one. Again, I never implied that she was on the body cam footage. Never said that, not even close. I never implied it or anything. What I said was she believes there is something on that would be harmful to her. Now, what some people have suggested is possibly her car, possibly something that would identify her as being there. I don't know. We don't know. That's pure speculation on all of our parts. But the way she is acting about this, something's up with it. I have met Mayor Keenan one time in my life, more than 2 years ago, regarding the issue of sexually explicit books in local libraries. That is the extent of my interaction with him. I stood by him and voted for him because of the way he handled that situation by immediately removing and reshelving explicit books from minors' reach. You also suggested that I opposed releasing the body-worn camera footage because there was something in it that could damage me. That is completely false. Where have we heard that exact term? That is completely false. Now, I told y'all, watch out for the LY words. Some people use LY words a lot. So for those people, hearing them say the LY word, an LY word, or using them in a sentence doesn't mean anything. I would have to go back and watch her during that meeting to see if she used LY words. Like, I use LY words pretty often. A lot of you do. Again, that's something that you have to kind of have a baseline for. Now, if she doesn't, then that's a big red flag. And it's very, very interesting that her LY word comes right before false. When that's I know that because I just watched it a while ago. It's exactly what Tony Keenan said. He had a LY word right before false every time. Just interesting. Ironically, I have personally spent nearly 2 years trying to obtain body-worn camera footage related to a tragic incident involving my own son that may have later resulted in his tragic death. This is her trying to get me to feel sorry for her and try to get people to feel sorry for her. Because, look, I hate that she's lost a child. That's horrible. I don't wish that upon anyone. I mean, that's horrible. I don't know Wendy, but I definitely would never wish anything like that on her. And I hate that she has dealt with that. I do. Truly. It's horrible. But throwing that into this, that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. So that is her trying to deflect. Simple as that. Now, again, I want to be clear. Wendy, and if you're listening, I hate that you've gone through that. And I will pray for you for that. And I can't imagine what that feels like and what you've gone through. I can't. But that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. There's one of my LY. I try to say absolutely a lot less because I notice I say it all the time, but I try not to, and I say it anyway. But anyway, if anyone had a personal reason to want body-worn camera footage released, it was me. Yet I still understand that privacy laws exist for a reason and that those protections apply even when the person in the video is someone you love. First off, there is no law, and I've said this, there is absolutely no law that says, in the state of Alabama, that says cities, counties, any local governments cannot release body camera footage. That law does not exist. She and Tony Keenan continue to imply that. That law does not exist. Local governments all over this state release body camera footage every day. They are implying and acting like it never happens because it's against the law here. That's just the furthest from the truth. The law, what the law says is it's up to the specific local government if they want to release it or not. Now, I still think that's a violation of our Constitution, and therefore I really think that the federal lawsuit is going to force them to release this body camera footage. because I can't fathom how that wouldn't be public information. But that's up for the courts to decide. But it pisses me off that they continue to act like this is a law. And she says, it's always been about protecting the rule of law. It's not against the law, Wendy. So that sentence doesn't make any sense. And the precedent created when government selectively releases protected recordings under public pressure. That is exactly what the government should do when they're under large public pressure. You know why? Because the government is ours and it works for us. So, yes, the government should absolutely listen to us when we're putting pressure on them. They don't rule over us. Literally, they don't rule over us. That's literally what we declared independence from in 1776. In her mind, she is acting like they rule over us. And her words, really interesting word usage she uses throughout this, protected recordings. What the hell does that mean? I was in law enforcement for over 17 years. From my very first shift, we had in-car cameras. I've never made a traffic stop in my entire life that wasn't on camera. We didn't have body cameras back then when I first started. Body cameras came around for us around 2013, 14. I was in investigations by then. So I didn't actually start wearing a body camera till 2000 I think I wore one when I got promoted at the jail, when I was running the jail. Anyway, maybe we'll say 2018. I don't know. My whole point is I worked in investigations for a really long time. I've seen tons of body cam footage throughout my career, analyzed tons. Most of the classes I teach to law enforcement revolves around body camera footage. I've never seen that word used. Protected recordings. That's a very interesting word usage there. At the beginning of your commentary, you joked that Mayor Keenan and I only needed 2 minutes. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth. I laughed at it because it was funny. Later in the program, you implied I was the woman in the body-worn camera footage. There again, she's saying that. I never implied that because I don't think a woman was in it. Those comments created a false impression that I had an inappropriate relationship with the mayor. That is completely false. There's that LY word, false again. And has caused real harm to my reputation. In 12 hours, Wendy, this was put out less than 12 hours after I said these things on the live. So, Wendy, you're telling me your reputation was harmed so bad that you could tell it and it started affecting you immediately within 12 hours. I wish I was that big of a podcaster, but I'm not. I've got a little over 100,000 followers. If I had over 1 million, I might say, hey, that makes sense. This is bullshit, Wendy, and you know it. I am a licensed private investigator and work full-time as a special investigations unit investigator. Investigating, my God, how many times can you use investigating in one sentence? Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, four times in one sentence. That's impressive. Let's read that. I am a licensed private investigator and work full-time as a special investigations unit investigator investigating insurance. That's hard to keep up with. Investigating insurance fraud. Let me dumb that down for you. Wendy investigates insurance fraud. There you go, Wendy. Much simpler way to put it, where everybody understands it. Let's not get too wordy here. That, sir, is why I request body-worn footage all the time. It is for insurance companies. One phone call would have cleared that up. No, Wendy, I'm not an idiot. I know nothing you have told me I did not know before I spoke about you. I knew you were a private investigator. I knew who you worked for most of the time. I knew what kind of investigations you normally do. I knew all of this. I don't know why you think I didn't, or what would it even matter if I didn't, to be honest. It wouldn't. So, because my point was, you can't get up there and say, pretty much every day I'm requesting body camera footage and my job depends on it. Oh, hey, by the way, we should not let body camera footage get released. That would be horrible. Those two things don't go together, Wendy. That was my point. You got up and you gave this big speech completely contradicting what you said in the beginning. I call that a red flag. Hold on, I lost my plate. Let me find the investigators everywhere. As a single mom, this is back to deflecting, manipulation, feel sorry for me. That's the only reason she would put that in there. As a single mom and a private investigator, I sometimes accept private investigative work outside of Orange Beach. That does not mean I work for the mayor or anyone connected to Orange Beach. Hold on. I'm very confused, in all seriousness. As a single mom and private investigator, I sometimes accept private investigative work outside of Orange Beach. Okay, cool. That does not mean I work for the mayor or anyone connected to Orange Beach. Well, yeah, that would make sense if you're working. Am I misunderstanding this? You're saying that you work outside of Orange Beach at times, and because you work outside of Orange Beach at times means that you don't work for the mayor or anyone connected to Orange Beach. Yeah. Okay, I agree with you. Wendy, this is those, and I've told people this before back in my previous life career, there were times I would look at somebody and be like, you have the right to remain silent. I would highly suggest you use that. I've said that more times than I can count. Wendy, you should take that advice. Every single thing that you say, you're telling on yourself more and more, because this sentence didn't come out like you really thought it was, I don't think. What you're trying to do is to go back over and justify and say, I don't work for the city of Orange Beach or the mayor. But in that, you've made this nonsensical sentence. Anyway, People are free to disagree with my opinions. Well, thank you, Wendy. They are not free to publish or repeat false, factual allegations about my life or my profession without ever attempting to verify them. Wendy. You just told on yourself again. Did y'all catch that? Somebody help me out here. What is it called when you say false factual? What's that called? There's a word. We learned it in, I don't know, 4th grade English class. When two things mean the complete opposite. Anyway, you just told on yourself even more. Oxymoron was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Mandy. Wendy, you need a friend that will just be honest with you. And you said in the meeting the other night, you said, do I need to hire an attorney? And I said, yes, you do. And obviously you listened to what I said. You should have taken that advice because they would have highly advised you not to write this. Trust me on that. Anyway, a single phone call before publishing your commentary would have established every one of these facts. I agree with you, Wendy. There's a lot of facts in there. Look, let me just to be completely honest. I don't think Wendy's some horrible person. I mean, I don't know her, and I doubt she's some evil, horrible person. So please don't think I'm saying that. Wendy has gotten herself involved and caught up into something that she shouldn't have, and it's probably going to end with her getting in some serious trouble. And Wendy, I do feel horrible that you've lost a child. Again, I can't begin to imagine what that's like. And I hate that for you. And I can't imagine how hard it is being a single mother. I can't. And I truly mean this when I say it because of those two things. And this is not, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be a smartass. Like, I'm being dead serious. Wendy, you need to go get an attorney ASAP. And you need to not speak about any of this publicly ever again. More than likely, you have already gotten yourself into some serious trouble, and it's going to come out. And again, I wouldn't even doubt that you have been manipulated by Tony Keenan. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Now, he is an evil piece of shit. So, Wendy, in all seriousness, the best thing for you to do is to go to the authorities and tell them the truth. And I promise you they will appreciate that, and they will give you, more than likely, give you leniency of some sort. Now, what did I say that would get us restricted from TikTok? Seriously. This has been a very mild live so far. Anyway, you need to go and tell someone exactly what happened, and that will look really good on you. And you can say, hey, look, I made a big mistake and I want to make it right. And I'm dead serious about that, Wendy. If you don't, there's a decent possibility you're going to end up in federal prison right along with Tony Keenan. And if he is actually fully investigated correctly, that's where he's going to end up. I can't say for sure he will end up there because that's a big if he's investigated correctly. But if he is, that's what's going to happen. And Wendy, he will pull you right down with him. Because let me tell you something about him and people like him, because I've interrogated tons of them. When they get him in a room, he's going to tell on everybody he knows. Trust me with that. Those big talkers, they're the ones who tell all when you get them in that room. All. And you'll be the first one he takes down. Trust me with that. I mean, I have no idea if they would give her immunity because I don't know exactly what all she's done. So, I mean, I don't know. In all seriousness, I just gave her the exact advice that I would give a good friend. If I had a good friend that got themselves mixed up in something that they didn't need to, and probably the way Wendy did, because I would about bet Wendy didn't set out to be involved in something illegal or involved in something she shouldn't have. She was talked into it by someone. She probably does need money at times. I get that. And I hate that money can buy people like that at times. I don't fault her for that. If that is part of it, and it probably is. Tony Keenan knew that, and that's probably why they targeted her. And we know more. There's more information out there that I know that I'm not going to announce on air that involves her as far as some of that stuff. And I'm sure Tony Keenan knew that stuff too. And again, that's the people they target. Hey, who needs $5,000? And I'm not saying that's what they paid her. I have no clue. That's just a complete example. If she was paid, then that's what they did. They said, she needs money bad. I bet $5,000 would buy us a lot with her. That's the way it works. What are you talking about, Brianna? Shout out to Wendy for inventing a whole new legal concept called false factual information. It is a new one on me. I don't know that I've heard of that before. Truer words have never been said, Tracy. Choose your friends wisely. Now, and that somewhat reminds me of let me start out by saying this. I don't know hardly anything thing about the Danny Williams investigation death that happened down there in, was it 2022? Whenever that happened. People have just started sending me information on this. So the knee read technique, I probably shouldn't speak on this at all right now because I don't know much. I don't know enough about it, but the little things I do know about it, this Danny Williams was either a family member or a very close acquaintance to Tony Keenan. And he went missing and then was found, the next day or 2 days later, within the next 48 hours, is from what I remember, in the water. There is a body cam footage floating around where it was a patrol officer kind of interviewing Danny's girlfriend at the time, like the day after they found him or something like that. Again, I apologize for not knowing more details on this. I know Danny spent some time in prison. Allegedly, Tony Keenan, this is allegedly Tony Keenan was involved in the same activities along with Danny, and Danny took the fall for it. Which, Wendy, pay attention. Seriously. I'm going to dig deep into this because just from what I've heard on it so far, it's very interesting. And just from what I've heard so far, I definitely 100% believe there is more to that than him just drowning. From what it sounds like, that's not what happened. And so, Kay, that's a good point. This is how much I don't know about this. Was that body camera footage, was that Orange Beach? Or was that another law enforcement agency? Now, tons of people have sent me this. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. But I did that. Hold on. Let me find it. Hold on.
All right, so let's.
So that was, hey, what's up, Brent? So that was Orange Beach. How did that get out? God, you can't make this up. I'm going to have to clean the visuals here up a little bit at some point. It's kind of hard to see, but let's see what we got here.
Let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Okay. Which way is he headed? Home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside and yelled. He didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get some things going, okay? I know you're upset.
Hold on.
All right, so let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Okay. Which way is he headed? Home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove.
Did you see the way she was looking? What I got from that is she was trying to see what kind of a reaction that got out of the officer, which is interesting. Makes me think she didn't think she saw him. Watch what I'm talking about.
All right, so let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Okay. Which way is he headed?
Interesting. Doesn't mean a lot just by itself, but that's the first red flag. I'll say that.
Home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside and yelled. He didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
Okay.
Clue number 2. Her word usage. Oh, I think she said rode the first time. Then she said drove. Nobody says drove by on a bicycle.
I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
It said went by.
Okay. Which way is he headed? Home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside.
I don't know. I mean, it couldn't be nothing, but again, you got to start putting this stuff together. It caught my ear saying drove by on a bicycle. That's odd.
Yelled. He didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get some things going, okay? I know you're upset. I know it's stressful.
Now, this just tells nervousness, which does not always mean being deceptive. A lot of people get those mixed up. But what's her blink rate after that?
All right, so let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Okay. Which way is he headed?
Completely normal blink rate. Now watch.
Home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside and yelled. He didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get some things going, okay? I know you're upset. I know it's stressful.
Off the charts. That's pretty telling. It's a very quick baseline I got on her. So, I mean, this is not scientific here, but she was blinking what I would consider normal, because some people blink fast all the time, and so that doesn't mean anything. But it definitely changed. The change of rate is what you look for. And there was definitely a big change there.
I know a lot of things went on yesterday, but we're not going to take this lightly. Just to clarify, yesterday we got a phone call, and we're just going to fill in the gaps. Yesterday we got a phone call about somebody jumping over.
Yeah, she's... Wow. She literally said, I swear it was him. And then look how worried she is now. You can see the worry. I mean, it's about to eat her up. So what is she so worried about since she's just so convinced she just saw him go by on a bicycle?
Board. A bunch of police boats come out. The helicopter comes out.
I don't have a good enough baseline on her yet, but this is a pretty good sign of when I'm talking to the police, I've done something wrong. People will subconsciously arrest themselves. I've seen this more times than I could ever count. Ask anyone that knows anything about body language and law enforcement. I mean, really, any police officer will probably tell you this. People will arrest themselves. What I mean by that, they will put their hands behind their back subconsciously, or this position, which is another big position. Place your hands on top of your head. May mean nothing, but again, adding it to everything else. Here, let me see exactly when she did this.
I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine
I think
Division.
he just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Okay. Which way?
She is so full of shit. I'm just going to call that on him going by on a bicycle. She's full of shit there.
Is he headed home or?
Like, that would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside and yelled. You didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
I swear that was him.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get some things going, okay? I know you're upset. I know it's stressful. I know a lot of things went on yesterday, but we're not going to take this lightly. Just to clarify, yesterday...
She's surrendering, is what I call it. That's exactly what she's doing. She's surrendering.
We got a phone call. And we're
subconsciously, obviously.
Yesterday we got a phone call about somebody jumping overboard. A bunch of police boats come out. The helicopter comes out. You speak with somebody and you say, don't worry about...
By the way, any law enforcement out there, this is not the way you interview anyone. I have no freaking clue why a patrolman is interviewing someone as part of a death investigation. Now, that's nothing against patrol. They're not investigating the case, though. That's crazy to me and should not be happening. And this is nothing personal towards this officer. A lot of patrol officers were investigators before, and they know exactly how to do it, but they still won't do it because it's not the way it works. Because there's things investigators are going to know that you don't, and so you should not be interviewing or interrogating anyone involved in this right now. And this is a prime example of what. This is not the way you interview someone involving a death investigation. Standing here in the middle of the police department or friends over here, all of this is wrong.
Me go over there looking for him. We show up. I know you don't remember this, but I'm just saying what we dealt with. We showed up, asked if anybody was on the boat, asked if anybody jumped from the boat. You said no, you're fine. You don't need anything. We said, was anybody else on a boat with you? You said, no, you're good. You didn't need anything. We drove away. We had another officer come.
What did he say?
Out. You speak with somebody and you say, don't worry about me. Go over there looking for him. We show up. I know you don't remember this, but I'm just saying what we dealt with. We showed up, asked if anybody was on the boat. Asked if anybody jumped from the boat. You said, no, you're fine. You don't need anything. We said, was anybody else on a boat with you? You said, no, you're good. You didn't need anything. We drove away. We had another officer come check on you because we saw alcohol, was worried about, boating under the influence.
See, and I remember someone saying, were you driving? I remember
Sure.
someone saying, are you driving the boat? And I said, no, I'm not the driver. The driver's the one who got picked up by the boat in the water. And he's the driver. And I said, I don't have any keys. I'm not driving the boat. I'm going to get someone to... That guy was there. He's going to take me to my sister's. I remember saying that.
Okay. So from there...
Hold on. So is she is she trying to pull the old, I don't remember anything?
Excuse me. The officer spoke with you, got a little bit more information. The guy that you were next to told you in?
Right. And then the police officers that were at my sister's house asked
See, I
me,
don't
did
know
I need...
anything about those.
Okay, well, those guys were there, and they asked me, did I need medical help, because the people on land saw me get knocked out by him. And I said, no, I don't need medical help. But that's all I remember. I don't even remember from that point, like, getting off the boat and going... I guess because I hit my head, I don't know.
How did you hit your head?
They say he hit me. The people on land say he hit me, and that's how I hit my
What
head.
were y'all arguing about before all this?
I don't know. I remember my phone.
All right, you're not under arrest for DUI. I'm going to go straight up.
I remember him throwing my phone over.
How much did y'all drink yesterday?
I probably had 10, 12 White Claws.
Okay.
I mean, I was drinking.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not arresting you.
No,
You're not
and
under
I'm
arrest.
saying I don't remember.
Was he drinking pretty good too?
No, he really wasn't drinking like me.
But
he really wasn't drinking like me means he was.
Was he drinking liquor or beer or what?
White Claw.
Okay, she admits it. Okay.
Those things are gross.
I don't know, but I remember him throwing my phone over, and I
In the water?
Yes, and her keys. I don't remember that. I just remember him throwing my phone over, and then I woke up on the ground and kind of like... I don't even remember from that point, like, getting off the boat and going... I guess because I hit my head, I don't know.
How did you hit your head?
They say he hit me. The people on land say he hit me, and that's how I hit my head.
What were y'all arguing about before all this?
I don't know. I remember my phone.
All right, you're not under arrest for DUI. I'm going to go straight up.
I remember him throwing my phone over.
How much did y'all drink yesterday?
I probably had 10, 12 White Claws.
Okay.
I mean, I was drinking.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not arresting you.
That was an honest statement. I mean, more than likely, I don't think she'd lie about having that much to drink. So as far as a baseline, I'm going to say, okay, that's an honest statement. And so the reason I went back is her head, where she's looking, everything she's doing when she's telling that truthful statement versus the rest of this. And I'll show you what I'm talking about.
And I'm saying, I don't remember.
Was he drinking pretty good too?
No, he really wasn't drinking like me.
But was he drinking liquor or beer or what?
White Claw.
Golly, how do y'all drink those things? Those are gross.
I don't know, but I remember him throwing my phone over, and
In the water?
Yes, and her keys.
And now she's looking around. She's trying to find this story. She's putting a story together. She is building a story in her head right now versus just standing there and telling what she remembers. Now she's trying to build a story. That's what I get from this anyway. Now, again, this is a very preliminary, what I would call an analysis. And so, but just looking at this, these things are sticking out to me.
Remember that. I just remember him throwing my phone over, and then I woke up on the ground and kind of like in that hole of the boat. And I was like, can you help me up? And I remember him saying, fucking get up, I ain't helping you up. And I remember that. And then I remember him jumping off the boat.
She remembers a specific thing he said to her, but she don't remember how she got off the boat. The officer interrupting her before she can finish every sentence. And that's what I'm talking about. And this is, I'm not, please, this is not a hit on this officer. He's probably young, still learning. I'm not saying he's a horrible police officer or anything like that. I don't know who he is, anything like that. But he doesn't know how to interview. And that's the problem.
And then that boat came over. I said, don't help me, go help him. And they went over to help him. And I had to throw the anchor out because I'm drifting.
Okay, let's see.
She remembers a specific thing he told her. She remembers throwing the anchor out. But then she don't remember how she got off the boat.
I mean, I don't know.
But then last night she started remembering. I was with her last night.
Yeah.
Are you sister?
This, Jesus Christ. This is why you don't interview someone with just a random person beside them. Now, this person who wasn't even there starts inputting her theories or whatever, and she was remembering that this is so screwed up.
Family friends?
She's a friend that came in from Mobile. So she was at my sister's house waiting on me. Like, we were coming back there.
She remembers where they were going back to. It's funny. So far, it seems that she only remembers things that are not really pertinent to what happened to him.
We were on our way back to my sister's. That's where we were, like right in that area, headed back to my sister.
Your sister did say that she saw everything, like they could see it, and the neighbors had it on camera. Like there's camera.
What did they see? Was this at a house or on the boat?
It was
From the house.
From their dog.
So there's footage of the entire incident?
Okay. So what did they see?
Her sister said she saw him hit her, and then for about 15 minutes, like circling or whatever,
And they saw him jump off the boat.
And so they thought she was dead because they didn't see her come back up. You know, they couldn't really tell.
Okay. All right. Do you have your ID with you
So
as well?
my sister thinks that he because Danny's been in trouble in the past and been in prison. Okay, so
We're familiar with him.
Yeah. So my sister thinks that maybe he's hiding out because he thinks I'm going to put him in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know his brother, Tony?
Yes.
I just got off the phone with him, too.
So, yeah, he called and accused me of.
Does he have a brother named Tony? Like, they're not talking about Tony Keenan, are they? Somebody that knows. But I mean, if there's footage of this entire of what happened, then I'm confused.
Like, let him drown. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? I told the boat to go pick him up.
I don't know what's the life
So, yeah, he called and accused me of, like, let him drown. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? I told the boat to go pick him up.
All right, so let's go over everything one more time so I'm not missing anything.
A lot of frustrations here with this officer. A written statement from someone is the most powerful thing of any investigation. A written statement is way more powerful than a verbal statement. Because a verbal statement, you can always say, oh, I misspoke. A written statement, you can't. You don't have that excuse. A written statement should be taken from every witness, suspect, whatever. She should have been sitting in a room by herself writing that statement. No one else in there, including the police officer. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks as if she was sitting out here in this lobby with her friend writing this statement, which really screws up things. That officer should have been able to, if he's been doing this anytime, he should have been able to just tell when he was talking to her that something's up here. Let's not jump to conclusions and trust the process. With the way I understand, the process has failed us on this investigation, and that's why we're discussing it. But I'm confused. Does anyone know? There's two things I want to see. That footage from her sister's house that they said that caught the entire incident. I mean, that would tell us a lot. And two, this written statement. Even though it's probably screwed up, I still want to see it. But her actions Wow. Hey, thank you, Wendy. Okay, so he has a brother named Tony. And that's what I figured, because I didn't think Tony Keenan was his brother. I just knew they were close acquaintances. But so another thing just clicked to me. She said his brother called her and said, "I can't believe you let him drown." And after that conversation, which that conversation was obviously before she got here. So after that conversation, she sees him go by on a bicycle or drive by on a bicycle. That's strange, too. Oh, somebody's done the podcast on all this? Awesome. Yes, please send that to me, Brent. And that's what I said in the beginning. I shouldn't even be talking about this because I just don't know much. I didn't know enough about it, and I'm probably going to be asking a bunch of questions that everybody else knows. But tons of people sent me that footage, and so asking me to analyze it, and that again, that's not a true analyzation. That's just a quick here, but those are a few things I caught on there that stand out pretty big to me. I mean, I call what was she the way she was standing there after that. I call that surrendering. She's like surrendering herself subconsciously because she knows she's done something wrong. Her story about that she thought she saw him go by on a bicycle, I guarantee you that was bullshit. She was not being honest about that at all. That's strange. Saying that the brother called her and said, "Why did you let him drown? I can't believe you let him drown." And then she sees him go by on a bicycle. But again, remember, she looked deeply at the officer. Her eyes were completely on him because she wanted to see what reaction that got out of him. She wanted to see if he was buying her shit. And along with other things here, but that was really messed up. And it starts with Orange Beach. What in the fuck are you doing interviewing someone part of a death investigation like this? Like, what in the world? This is crazy. And I haven't been teaching now in over 6 months. Every time I would go and teach a class on interview interrogation, body language analysis, I would have people in there that would say, "This is elementary. Everybody knows this stuff." I'd say, "I wish I could say that." And then I'll bring up about 10 or 20 body cam videos, interview videos like this. And then they're all like, "Oh my God, how's that still happening in today's time in law enforcement? Like, how are there all agencies still operating like this, like it's 1970? And here's a prime example. Yeah. So he was still missing at this time, which is even, why in the hell was an investigator here? That proves my point even more of, so we got a missing person at this point, and we're not even investigating it yet. Like, why? And if he's still missing at this point, why is his brother calling her, asking her, or saying to her, I can't believe you let him drown? Or did that even happen? Did she make that up? I don't know. and this is not a knock towards Orange Beach Police Department as a whole. I've taught some of their investigators before. I've worked some cases back in, now this has been, I don't know, 10 years ago now. I worked some cases with some of their narcs, part of the Baldwin County Drug Task Force back then, and they were solid. I mean, they're as good as you can get. Awesome guys, girls. I mean, experts. That was 10 years ago. Why are they handling a missing persons case like this in, was this 2022? Did I get that right? I think that's what I saw on the post. So I've heard that they ruled it a drowning and he didn't have water in his lungs, which means he didn't drown. I don't know how they rule it a drowning. And I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that's common sense. Hey, thank you, Neely. I'm watching that tonight. Like, I'm very interested in this now. But after watching that now, I'm extremely interested in this because there was a lot of red flags in that woman right there. Now, please understand, I'm not accusing her of being part of taking someone's life. I don't know half enough about this case to even suggest that right now or anything. There was definitely some things she was saying there that she was completely full of shit, though. I'll say that. It's crazy to me that nobody saw his body floating in the highest boat traffic area of the island for several days. So how many days was it until they found him? Before they found him? I thought it was like a day or two. Maybe I was wrong. Oh, and YouTube, I'm sorry. Let me take I forgot to take the ads off. I apologize. Let me do that right now. For some reason, it makes me do it every live. I don't know why it won't just let me turn it on if I wanted to versus having to turn it off every time. Anyway, all right, there y'all go. I just don't see how they can say somebody drowned if they didn't have water in their lungs. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'll look into that. I'm definitely not an expert in that, but that doesn't make sense to me. So he was missing for about 2 days. Okay. That's what I was thinking, somewhere around in there. But the officer was putting a ton of words in her mouth too. And that's just, and I hate to Monday morning quarterback that officer. I really do. If he watches this, I hope he understands I'm not saying he's a horrible officer or anything like that. This was a leadership issue, not his. This is a policy issue. He shouldn't have been put in that position. So Neely says, I interviewed an expert on a separate drowning in Baldwin County, and I learned it is possible for a victim of a drowning not to have water in their lungs. That's crazy. I'm going to have to dig into that now because I'm like, how do they rule it a drowning then? What makes them think it's a drowning if they didn't have water in their lungs? Now, again, I'm not an expert in that. It would seem to me that would be impossible, but Neely says it's not impossible, and so it's probably not. I still don't understand that. I'm very curious about that now. Did they just rule it a drowning because he's found in the water? That seems ridiculous, but I've seen crazier things. But I'm going to watch that podcast ASAP, and then I'm going to dig more into this, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this because, like I said, I'm very interested in this, especially if there's any possibility that Tony Keenan is in any way involved. And I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying if there's even a possibility that could be the case. Now, Audie is exactly right. I do know that. And 2 days is enough time for a body to sink and then surface. So that could explain why nobody saw him before then. She's exactly right there. But I don't, if he didn't have water in his lungs, I don't know how he would have not floated from the beginning. Maybe I'm wrong. Lori says the body of water that he drowned in is shallow water. I'm a charter boat master captain. I have hours on that body of water. There are only a couple of channels that are 8 foot deep to allow larger boats to come in. He could have walked to shore. Oh, so it was shallow. Wow. So that I'm curious what that other footage showed that her sister had. Mandy, and I'm not being a smartass. I promise. I'm truly asking because I'm curious. Is that a AI answer or is that something you know? See, I kind of remember something like that from EMT school now that you're mentioning it. I've forgotten a lot of medical stuff like that. The deep medical stuff anyway. It's one of those, if you don't use it, you lose it for sure. That is kind of funny, Deanna. I'll give you that. Murder Creek Media and Agent Baker on live podcast. What's Murder Creek Media? Is that a podcast? I'm guessing that's is that who did the podcast? Well, I'm not familiar with them, but I will be familiar with them because I'm definitely watching that podcast. What's up, Laura? Bruh. Did my 11-year-old jump in the live here? Oh, I see. Okay. I'm putting it together. I apologize, Neely. So that's your podcast. Well, that's awesome. Well, I will be very familiar with it from now on, I promise you. Hello, Katie. Neely and Whitney are Murder Creek Media. You have multiple podcasts. Awesome. I'd love to get with you for sure. Because I've seen your name a lot. I've seen you post a lot and stuff, but I don't remember seeing that, like Murder Creek Media. But I've seen your name a lot. And I know you've been on the last few lives for sure talking about the Orange Beach stuff. But I apologize for not knowing that. Thank you, Wendy. Brian said the body camera footage I saw from when they found the body in the water, the officer mentioned it was odd how quick his body started to float. So there's body camera footage of that too? Or is that just footage that you saw, but it's not public? Neely is an expert of all things Orange Beach. Awesome. I look forward to getting to know her. If nothing happens, Cece and I will be recording a podcast this week. I don't know when it'll be out, but we're supposed to record it this week too. I'm looking forward to that for sure. But I'd definitely love to for us to do a podcast together. Me be on yours, you be on mine, whatever, Neely. But I'm going to watch y'all's on this tonight. I'm watching that tonight for sure. So that footage is on that podcast. Okay, awesome. So this is a genuine question. How is it that Orange Beach released the body camera footage from this, but are now acting like that it's literally against the law for them to release body camera footage? Does anyone have any type of explanation that they've heard from them? Like, has anyone heard any type of explanation on that? Because I was trying to think the other day if I've seen any Orange Beach body camera footage before, and I couldn't remember. I've seen a ton of Gulf Shores, just because their previous chief taught a lot of law enforcement classes, and I've seen all of his, but I don't know about Orange Beach. So that body camera footage can be found on Neely's podcast, which is Murder Creek Media. Hey, Neely, tell us where can everybody find that? Find your podcast. They just don't release it if the mayor is involved. That probably does, and that probably does account for quite a few body cam footage. He's probably involved in a few. So, Brian, the one you're talking about, the footage you're talking about, was that still an ongoing investigation? Or was the investigation completely over? Because I'll be the first to say that if it's an ongoing investigation, you should not release body camera footage. I mean, I understand that. That's evidence. And as long as it's evidence, it shouldn't be just released to the public. But after that investigation is just over, completely over, then you should have to release it if someone requests it. And specifically if it involves a government employee. As far as let me rephrase that. Specifically if it involves an elected official. Okay, this is getting confusing now. All right. So, Neely, but your podcast is Murder Creek Media, correct? That's your podcast. And that's the one. Well, let me see. Oh, you're right, Monica. I wasn't even thinking about that because it's part of a name, but you are right. So the Creek Media is your company and you host multiple podcasts. Awesome. Okay. So this podcast that somebody sent to me is Heart of Dixie podcast, Orange Beach Tyranny. Or I say somebody, that's what you sent me. Sorry. So Heart of Dixie podcast is one of the podcasts that you have. That's loud. Or that's just a podcast you appear to. Okay, I'm confusing myself and everybody else, so I'm just going to shut up about it. But we'll get it figured out. Awesome. Okay. So the podcast that everybody was talking about a while ago that Neely appeared on it's called the Heart of Dixie podcast, Orange Beach Tyranny. And it's a 4 days ago podcast that talks a lot about the Danny Williams case, for those of you wondering. And then I'm going to get with Neely and get her podcast and everything, and I'll put that out the next live or something so everybody can make sure to go and follow hers and listen to hers as well. All right, we got that situated. Yeah, but body cam footage is released every day, Brian. I mean, I understand that, Brian, but body camera footage is released every single day throughout the country. Oh, never mind. I'm guessing you're talking about this Alabama State Supreme Court. We got to change that. That's not. No. People demanded body cameras. Now we have them. Now people don't want to see them. That's BS. And we called that. Tons of police officers called that when people started demanding body cameras. It's like, you're not going to want this. This is not going to be good for the criminals because 98% of the time, the criminals are lying about what happened. Body cameras are the greatest thing that's ever happened to law enforcement, by far. It was the worst thing to happen to criminals. Monica, that is very sound advice. I'm very curious about what that is. What is the penis lady? That sounds interesting. Wow. No, Brian, I should have picked up on that. Yeah, he was saying it went to the Alabama State Supreme Court. So that makes more sense, is what I was saying. But again, like Brent just said, that even Baldwin County, it's released regularly. I mean, it's still released all over the state all the time. Small percent of cops are bad. Less than 2%. By far, less than 2% of law enforcement are bad as far as corrupt. Probably less than 1%, honestly. But be on the safe side, I'll say less than 2%. It's very rare. Now, we have a big training issue across this country for law enforcement, but that is completely different than corrupt. So, yeah, police make mistakes every day because they're human, number one. And a lot of the police that make mistakes is just because they're not trained properly. That's the issue we have. We don't have a corruption problem in the United States for law enforcement. Again, very, very, very few police officers in this country are actually corrupt. We have a training problem, though, for sure. What I've started telling law enforcement agencies, if you run a law enforcement agency, if you're a chief or a sheriff, and your equipment budget is more than your training budget, you're wrong. Simple as that. So if you're watching and you are a leader of a law enforcement organization, when you get to the office tomorrow, if you don't know off the top of your head, which you probably do know off the top of your head, is your equipment budget more than your training budget? If it is, you are wrong and you are not leading very well right now, and you need to change that immediately. I'm not familiar with this lady. She was at a protest dressed as a inflatable. She won in court on First Amendment. Well, yeah, I can see that. Hold on. Are you saying she was arrested for wearing that costume? Oh, my God. Well, yeah, she won that. Back to a training issue. I can't even. That's just as bad as the officers that threaten to arrest, that think they can arrest people for saying cuss words. So if you're a police officer listening right now, you cannot arrest someone for saying any curse word. You can't. They can say as many curse words as they want to anyone. Now, if it crosses the line into harassment, which would be threats, something like that, okay, that's different. But You cannot arrest someone for saying curse words or these arbitrary words that you deem to be bad, because that's what they are. They can say the F word as much as they want in public in front of anybody. Not against the law. Not against the law. They quoted a local public decency law. Yeah, local law does not trump the United States Constitution. That is for sure. But it's also not against the law to be disrespectful. I mean, yeah, it sucks when you're in law enforcement, somebody's disrespectful to you, but it's not against the law. I mean, if I arrested people for being disrespectful to me, my God, at their arrest I would have made. This has been all I would have been doing. No, I do not need that costume. But no, I'm not familiar with this case at all, but I'm going to be. This is very interesting, and I had no clue that somewhere somebody was arrested for wearing a costume. That is crazy. Like, just saying that out loud. Let me take that. That's not a training issue. That's an issue that's a police officer that does not know anything, that doesn't respect the Constitution, doesn't understand it at all, but most importantly, doesn't respect it. And that's a big problem. That's not a training issue. I hope she won a lot of money. Oh, I thought you had sent me the link for the lady. Brent, you're exactly right. I'd be disrespectful too if my rights were being violated. I had two cops try and make me the problem after getting jumped by security guards outside of their venue while I was on a public sidewalk. I smarted off after they were obviously not willing to hear my side of the story and said, I can't believe why they would jump you. He was a porker, so I responded, well, I can't imagine how you passed a porker. That's awesome. Brett, you just made my night. That's my new term for that, a porker. Oh, I love that. Oh, so she's in the process now of suing. Her great grandkids should not have to worry about money. I vacation down there about 3 times a year. Well, now technically we stay in Perdido Key because I refuse to stay in Orange Beach right now while Tony Kennan's the mayor. But I love Perdido Key too. And I mean, it's all right there, but a porker. So if you're new to following me or hadn't been following me for a while, one of my big pet peeves is overweight law enforcement. I will listen to me. If you're an overweight law enforcement, I will make fun of you, not behind your back, but to your face. And you deserve it. Every day, any day. I did it the entire time I was working in law enforcement. If you were overweight, I would walk up to you and have some words with you. I would be kind of, respectful, but I would say, hey, you need to do something or give your badge up. I can't stand it. It's so unsafe. You're risking your life and everybody around you's life. There's something wrong with you if you're overweight, out of shape in law enforcement. You're a disgrace. I can't be more clear on that. That's something I've never hid. That's one that some of the haters I have in law enforcement, that's why. Because I've always been very open about that. I've called them out in my classes before. I've had them get up and leave my classes before. It's just a fact. I don't want to see you losing your life. So if me making fun of you causes you to either get in shape or give your badge up, is worth it. I can't stand it. And still today, if I'm walking down the sidewalk, if I'm in a store or something and it's an overweight officer, I will be respectful, like I'm respectful to them. And I won't say it in front of people, but I will over to the side, whisper to them, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, you need to go, you either need to get in the gym ASAP or you need to give up your badge. I mean, I've said that to more people than I can ever count. My wife hates it. She just walks off every time. It's just one of the things that bothers me more than anything. Now I have a new term for them, thanks to Brent. Porkers. Well, and top law enforcement agencies, the good law enforcement agencies have yearly PT tests. They don't pass PT test. That's Brent's point. A lot of agencies don't have PT tests. They don't have PT standards, and that's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. I will never understand it. But I'm proud to say I've ran quite a few law enforcement officers out of that career because of that. Just by embarrassing the hell out of them nonstop. I don't care. There's no excuse for that. If you are going to wear a badge and a firearm, you have to be in decent. I'm not saying you have to be in top shape or anything like that. I'm not saying you have to be, have muscles coming out of everywhere. I'm saying just be in shape. And so the ones I'm talking about are the ones that's just ridiculously obvious. You've all seen them. And it's embarrassing. It was all that. I think that's one reason it bothered me so bad when I was in law enforcement is because it's embarrassing. It makes law enforcement look like a joke, and it's not. It's one of, if not the hardest jobs in the United States by far. I mean, it is. I don't care what anybody says. The stress. You have to play everybody. You have to be a doctor, a therapist, a lawyer, you have to wear so many hats and know so much about so many things while you're putting your life at risk every day. It's a hard job. They're one donut away from running their own Krispy Kreme. I love Krispy Kreme. Every once in a while, my daughter has gotten she loves donuts and she calls them no nuts. She's 2. So she's like, or new nuts. She's like, I want a new nut. And so sometimes when I take her to either gymnastics or dance or something, she'll ask. And so we'll run through Krispy Kreme. And I'm not going to lie, every time I do, I eat 6 that evening, at least 6 hot nows. I can't. I have a problem with them. So that's why I don't pick them up often. Your uncle was mayor of Birmingham in the 60s. That's interesting. That was a very interesting time, actually, in Birmingham, now that you say that. Oh, you're in Perdido Key? Yeah, I was there last month. I think, yeah, last month. Kaylee, that's nonsense. Dunkin' Donuts is nowhere near as good as Krispy Kreme. That's a hill I'll die on. No. Get out of here with that mess. That's like saying Dunkin' Donuts coffee is as good as Starbucks. No, it's not. It's a joke. Jasper Donuts is hands down better than Krispy Kreme. That's possible. True. I would be curious of what is in Jasper Donuts. That's a joke, but it's pretty funny, though. That is the first thing that came to my mind when you said that. What are they putting in those donuts up there? They may be a little too good. The beautiful bubble. I love Perdido Key. Actually, we do. We love it now, and that's probably where we'll always go from now on, honestly, because it's a really good kept secret. And I hate to say, I mean, there's not a lot. There's less. There's around 110 people on here, so not a ton of people. It's a really good kept secret. Perdido Key. The beach is not even a fourth crowded as Orange Beach. It's traffic is nothing compared to now. They're next door to one another, but traffic is a huge difference. And there's some really good restaurants and places to eat and down there around Perdido Key too. Now I end up every morning I go into Orange Beach. I like waking up early and driving down the road there, by the beach for one, and I'll go down to Orange Beach to the Starbucks every morning. But other than that, I'll go to the Starbucks and then go back, and we stay around there just because of traffic and everything, and the beach is a lot less crowded. Now, I haven't eaten Dunkin' Donuts since when I worked for Muscle Shoals. I would eat there. I would get something from there every morning. I'd get a coffee and like a little muffin or something like that every morning. Because at that time, Muscle Shoals didn't have a Starbucks. They have a Starbucks now, but they didn't then. And so that was like my regular morning thing there. But I haven't eaten there since we left there. Don't touch the powdered ones just in case. The Blue Angels use your condo as the turning point to go back to NAS. Yeah, that's awesome. Now that's where I went to A school. I went to A school in Pensacola, there at NAS. That was a long time ago. Because my original MOS in the Navy was I was a rescue swimmer, and so that's what I went to A school as a rescue swimmer, and that's where A school was in Pensacola. So I spent a ton of time in Pensacola back then, but that's been that was 2006, 5 or 6. That was a long time ago now. Wow, that's over 20 years ago. That's crazy. I can't believe that was that long ago. Makes me feel really old. Well, I do a live on the Heart of Dixie podcast episode about Danny Williams. What I'm wanting to do, and I mean, I got to get with her. This was just all brought to my attention that Neely was one of the ones on that episode, and I want to get her and was it Whitney on my podcast, or I go on theirs, whatever, one way or the other, versus me breaking that one down. Or just get one of them on, or both of them, or whatever. Your son went to A school in Pensacola last year. What was his rate? Or Army calls it MOS, Navy would call it rate. Same thing. Whatever your job is. Judy, I bet he does have. I bet he had so many stories. He definitely had some very interesting jobs. ABF. Aviation. I don't know that one off the top of my head. I mean, I figured it's obviously aviation since he went to A school at NAS, but look that one up. So that's what I wanted to say. Aviation's boatswain mate, but then I didn't think that was right. Okay, that makes sense. I've told you I don't know much about what I call the real Navy because I was never on a ship. I was always in a land combat unit. So I think the longest I spent on a ship was like 2 weeks one time. So there's a lot about that stuff I don't really know, but yeah, that makes sense. I spent some time in Norfolk. Huge base. That's a good place to be stationed, though. You graduated high school 20 years ago. I thought I was old. I graduated college 20 years ago. Well, close to it. 19 years ago. Your Marine son was an embassy guard. Oh, I've met those guys, a lot of those guys before. What did I? I spent a couple months on a base with a lot of those guys. What base was that? I can't remember. I can't remember. What they call the Royal Navy? I don't get that joke. I was in what they call the Green Navy. I'd love to hear more, Judy. Message me, and I'll get up with you. Seriously, I would love to hear more about that. But Jennifer, if he ever gets the chance to be stationed in Williamsburg, that's my favorite place in this country, is Williamsburg, Virginia. I love it. I would love to live there. I love that place. Really awesome area. Very expensive, but really awesome area, and so much history. You got Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg in like a little triangle. And it's just, I don't know. I just love it there. I think it's just because of all the history there. And then the old Williamsburg, and where I mean, it's all been kept so well. It's just, I don't know. I love it there. I love it there. I got to go back there soon. It's been a while since I've been there. No, I've never worked for Montgomery County. I've never heard that, Brent. You're probably right. I've never heard that, though. Oh, if he hasn't been to Williamsburg and down there, he definitely needs to go. I mean, he's close enough. He's not far. It's not a crazy drive from Norfolk. But no, you can go. You can hit Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg all in one day if you want to. I mean, they're with minutes between one another. And then you also have Busch Gardens there in Williamsburg, and I love it there too. It's one of my favorite theme parks. Are you talking about one day, Katie, or are you talking about the whole month, like you were saying? Oh, he just went to the Busch Gardens last week? Okay, so he's been there. Now, it's been a while since I've been to Busch Gardens there. It's probably changed some. It's probably been 10 years since I've been there. Nah, maybe not that long. Maybe 8 years. But it's been a while. Your other son was an embassy guard in Uzbekistan and Chad, Africa. Never been to either one of those places. The 23rd, the gathering in OB. I think that's which I need to bring that up. Yeah, the 23rd of this month is when we're having the peaceful protest. I'm supposed to call it public demonstration. Same thing. But in Hamilton for the ramp, I think as of right now, we're going to meet up around between 4 and 5 p.m. on the 23rd. And I'm going to put all that out. I think I said Friday night. I'll get all that on the website. Hopefully tomorrow. I'll get all the details of that on the website tomorrow, agentdbaker.com. Make sure you check that out. We need as many people as possible, please, to come out and show support and stand up against the ramp, the cult, and most importantly, the child predators, and get that shut down. And we need a bunch of people. We need to really show out. There's, again, now fully peaceful. If anyone starts getting out of hand at all, you will be removed. But bring your signs, all that, and we're going to show that there's a lot of us, and that we're not shutting up, we're not stopping. And if we, as Shia said, if we run her out of that town, then we'll run her out of the next one too. That's July 23rd in Hamilton, Alabama. And if there's any way you can be there, please be there. Tell your friends, family. Oh, I hate you're feeling bad, Tammy. I hope you do get to feeling better. So the 23rd is on a Thursday evening, and we're going to be there the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th because they're having the camp ramp that whole weekend. But the big day I'm planning on is being that Thursday, the 23rd, because their camp starts at like 6 p.m. that night. So that way we can be out there later in the evening where it's not as hot. And so that's the point behind that. And so that's why I'm wanting as many people to come then. But now you can also come. We also want people to come, as many people as possible, on that Friday and Saturday as well, the 24th and 25th. It'll just be, those are during the day because they start at like noon or something like that. So it's going to be a little hotter. Now, I'm going to have at least one or two of the like tents set up, and hopefully some fans and stuff like as a cool down area. I'm going up there one day this week to really see the area in person where we're going to be, so I can really get in my head exactly how I want it. But we're going to try to set those things up to where people can, I don't want people getting overheated. And and I have some volunteer spots I need people to volunteer for as well. And I'll have all that on the website, like I said, hopefully by tomorrow. And then we're also going to take up donations so we can have coolers full of waters and some snacks or something too, if possible, just depending on how much money we raise for that, but at least for water and stuff like that to keep people cooled down. but I'll have a whole place on the website where you can go see, get all that information and sign up as a volunteer if you'd like to do that and donate for that. The 23rd in Hamilton is when we're having a peaceful protest. Then we'll be starting around. We're going to start gathering between 4 and 5 p.m. on that Thursday, the 23rd. The camp starts that evening at 6 p.m. And then we'll also be out there the 24th and the 25th, which is the Friday and a Saturday as well. But I'm wanting as many people as possible to come on the Thursday because, again, that's in the evening time where it's cooler. But we're doing a peaceful protesting the ramp, which is the cult that's operating up there and that's had tons of child predators on staff. Currently still at least one child predator on staff. Over 50 victims now that we know of. Child victims, probably a lot more. But we need as many people out there as possible. You're not going to be able to make it, Aldi? Yeah, so Thursday, Melissa said that it starts at 7 p.m. Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. The doors open at 6. And then Friday is at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And Saturday's at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And doors open an hour before each service. So Thursday, again, we're going to start meeting between 4 and 5 p.m. and just stay till whenever. And so Friday, we'll meet around 9 or 10 in the morning, and Saturday as well. Oh, Karen Weaselton. Oh, I understand that, Audie. Well, if you can come Friday or Saturday, we will be there. Love to have you there. But yeah, we got it all. My attorney got all the paperwork submitted to the city up there and everything. So all that got confirmed and okayed. And that way they are expecting, as far as the law enforcement, they're going to actually shut the sidewalks down for us and all that stuff. So it's just a lot better that way. Yes, you don't have to get it approved, but I don't want to ever put unnecessary, what's the words I'm looking for here? I don't want to put local law enforcement in a bind. Like if we end up having 50, 60 people there and they're not prepared for it at all, it's a very small agency. So this way they can be prepared for it and have officers working overtime if needed or whatever like that. And so that's the reason I like to go through those processes, because I don't want to ever put law enforcement in a bind. That's not what we do. I know how that is. Been through that, and it's not fun. When can we have a peaceful protest in OB? That's a good idea, and we will work that up. And I can't promise you when it'll be, but that is a good idea. I'll get with some people down there and see what we think about that. Nancy, I'll have a place on the website for everything like that, and but I'll get with you. Like my truck is a full generator, so we can power a lot of things just off of my truck. If there's a place, that obviously depends on where we're going to be set up, and if there's a place I can park my truck and be close enough like that and all that stuff. I'm coming up there one day this week and looking at all of it in person, so we can get all that figured out. Hey, good night, Audie. Appreciate you being on. Hope you have a good night and a good day tomorrow. Yeah, that was Melissa. Like Melissa said, this past weekend, victims' families showed up to protest. That's awesome. Yeah, I hope we have a really good crowd. Maybe we can have it at the Coastal Resource Building. That's not a bad idea. But no, Judy, seriously, that's a good idea, and we'll make that happen at some point. Hey, Miss Holly. That is solid, Kaylee. That's pretty solid. Kaylee said, I wonder if Karen predicted the protest. That's a good question. Am I frozen for anyone else on TikTok? I hope not. I just did a major upgrade to my computer. Yeah, it must be on your end, Laura. What has Karen been telling her front porch friends lately? I don't know. I gave myself like a week break of watching her, but I got to get back on it. There's some other things that I've found out about in the past week. Some things she talked about and stuff like that I haven't had a chance to really look into it, but there's definitely some things I'm going to be talking about Wednesday night on the live about Karen and some of her shenanigans current shenanigans and BS, and it's man, that woman is just evil. I mean that's the only way to put it. Well, what's up, Jake? Yeah, Jake got the protest this last weekend together up there, and they had a good little turnout. And I think he said he'll be back the 23rd and that weekend as well. Nothing new. She's comparing herself to Daniel. Well, of course. There was one thing that was discussed, and Melissa, you know what I'm talking about, that I just glanced at, and then I didn't get time to look into it. But it was about the $1,000. We'll talk about that Wednesday night for sure. But yeah, that was really awesome of Jake getting out there, getting people out, other people out there, and showing up. When is Samuel Bentley going to be charged and arrested? Whenever the next grand jury is up there, and I'm not sure when it is. The smaller counties, they don't have a lot. They only have a few grand juries a year, and I don't know exactly when their next one is, but that's what they're waiting on. One thing I want to discuss before we go tonight that just, oh my goodness. Let me get it pulled up. It's one of those things. It is serious, but it's also
My name is Olin.
it's so bad it's comical. Oh, another thing we're gonna be discussing deep Wednesday night on the live. And remember, Wednesday night lives 8 p.m. Central is exclusively on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, Agent D Baker, make sure you go subscribe so you don't miss the Wednesday night lives. And if you have trouble finding it, which you shouldn't, you can go to our website, agentdbaker.com, and there's links to all the social media platforms we're on there. You can just click on there. But make sure you go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Agent D Baker, and hit the notifications. That way you're notified when I go live. And that's also the only places where you can find my full podcast are YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. But we're also, another thing we're going to go deep into Wednesday night is Pritchard, Alabama. And they arrested a lot of you have seen this. One of the police officers has been arrested by the feds for tons of corruption, crazy corruption. Now, and they've shut the entire police department down, like literally. The county there has taken over. 148 unsubmitted grape kits found in their evidence. There better be a lot of people going to prison for a very long time over that. 148. But we're going to go very deep in that Wednesday night. So, again, make sure you catch that. That's just, I mean, I don't even have words right now for that. What did this? Well, I don't know. I'll just have to pull up a basic. There was a particular news story I was trying to pull up, but I don't know what I did with it. This may be it. Let me get this pulled up. But y'all, like, what are we doing in our government? I mean, this has got to change. So if you haven't seen this mess with Mitch McConnell, who I'm pretty convinced is not alive anymore. And I'm being dead serious. No pun intended. It would not shock me if we found out he has passed on. We've seen this man literally have strokes while he's up giving a speech a couple of times. I want you to look at this picture of him. And this man is allegedly still a United States Senator right now. Again, this is one of those things that the rest of the world looks at us and is just laughing. What are we? This man, I get, if he is still alive, I bet everything I've ever owned, he doesn't even know his own name. Tell me this guy's still in this world. Look at him. Why do we keep being okay with these guys and girls in our House of Representatives and Senate that should have been retired 40 years ago, 30 years ago? This is unbelievable that this is one of the people we expect to be making decisions for our country right now. And I'll say this, Mitch McConnell's family, I'll say exactly like I said about Joe Biden's family. You're a disgrace. And I think there's a special place for you for allowing your family member to be put up like this. What is wrong with you? If this was my grandfather, father, there is no, even uncle, there's no way in hell I would allow this. I would take him home and let him relax and rest for his few days he has left. What are we doing? Seriously, what in the hell are we doing? It's unbelievable. This is what he will be remembered as. As long as he's been in Senate, this is what he's going to be remembered as now, just like Joe Biden. Any legacy they ever had is completely gone. And that's 100% on their family. Because these men are not able to make a decision by themselves. That's very obvious. Again, they don't even know their own name. And their family members that are allowing this to happen are pieces of shit. Again, I'm not convinced he's still alive. This article, though. McConnell says he was briefly unconscious, had pneumonia, and health update. Senator Mitch McConnell released a statement on his health on Sunday, along with a photo of himself with his wife, Elaine Chao, after questions swirled about his condition. McConnell said he was briefly unconscious after he took a fall last month and had been dealing with a mild case of pneumonia. Don't those two things go together? This is a joke. He was briefly unconscious because he fell. And I guess that caused him to have pneumonia all of a sudden? No. Obviously, the pneumonia is a cause he can't move, probably. And this is allegedly a quote. There's no way this man is talking like this. There's no way. That's a lie. And they should not be able to lie to us about our United States government politicians like this. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older. The senator said, no, he didn't. There's no way in hell he said that. Addressing growing questions about his well-being. Even in the public eye, I feel that same instinct. I can't help it. You're probably right about that. You can't help anything because you don't even know your name right now. The 84-year-old I don't have words. The 84-year-old Kentucky Republican has been hospitalized since June the 14th. His office said on the same day, emergency medical personnel responded to an unconscious person at McConnell's home. According to a public EMS dispatch call reviewed by CBS earlier this month. My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. You fell and hit your head so far that it caused you to pass out and you didn't suffer a concussion. Bullshit. That didn't happen. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. We've literally seen this man have strokes. I'm telling you. We've seen this man speaking at a podium and have a stroke during the middle of a speech. And that was a year ago, at least. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages, McConnell said Sunday. No, McConnell didn't say anything. But I was briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital. An 84-year-old in the hospital for a month. And nothing serious. Nobody spends a month in the hospital and it's not serious. While receiving excellent care over the past several weeks, I've also had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia. There's no 84-year-old that's ever lived that has a mild case of pneumonia. Those two things don't go together. That's another oxymoron. 100. An 84-year-old doesn't have a mild case of pneumonia. His doctors are trying to figure out what caused the incident. He's fucking 84 years old. That's what caused the incident. What do you mean his doctors are trying to figure out what caused the incident? He's had strokes on live television. This man is in horrible health. And he should be home resting instead of being propped up and acting like he's still making any decisions for our country. People that were not voted in office are making decisions for him right now, and that's not supposed to be the way. That's not the way it's supposed to be. McConnell said, adding he's doing everything they asked to speed up his recovery. What the hell could he be doing to speed up his recovery? Running sprints? In fact, with signs of continued progress, I've been able to move from hospital care to a rehabilitation center where I'll keep regaining my strength. You supposedly had nothing wrong with you other than a mild case of pneumonia. Why are you having to regain your strength? Do they think everybody's just ignorant? Like, who on his team sat down and wrote this and thought, this sounds good? And not only that, other people approved it. Like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's put that out. That sounds plausible. No, it doesn't. Nothing about this is plausible. All he has had is a mild case of pneumonia. But he's in a rehabilitation center having to regain strength. The Republican said his medical team has not cleared him to return to the Senate floor to vote, but he assured that he has been working with his staff and Senate colleagues. He has not been working with anybody. You're right to expect your representatives to work hard for you. Not an 84-year-old. No, I don't expect that, actually. That's why I don't think he should be a representative anymore. And part of my decision to retire at the end of my term this coming January, if he is still alive, there's no way in hell he makes it to that. That's not happening. Was being honest about the demands of Senate work. But I still have unfinished business to complete on your behalf. And I have every intention of finishing the job you elected me to do. The office of McConnell's attending physician said the senator remained hospitalized to focus on physical therapy to reduce his risk of future falls. McConnell, a childhood polio survivor, has faced several health scares in recent years. In a May 19th committee hearing, he was seen with a bandage around his hand. In February, McConnell spent more than a week in the hospital after he checked himself in for flu-like symptoms. In 2023, he was hospitalized with a concussion after a fall and later appeared to freeze in two separate instances. He suffered minor injuries in 2024 after another fall. He had strokes. At least one of those, when he was up at the podium, he had a freaking stroke. Probably both. It is unbelievable that we're allowing this man to still be a senator right now. That should not happen. This is crazy. And if he was really well enough to talk, he would have put a video out. Where's that video? Oh, they can just give us this picture of a man you can clearly see has no idea he's even in this world. It's just unbelievable to me. This is supposed to be one of the most powerful people in the world. And honestly, out of everyone watching right now, is there anyone that can look at this man's face right here and truthfully say that he's cognitive at all? Anyone? Seriously. I agree, Brian. We need some type of legislation that forces staff to report when an elected or appointed government official is in any way unable to perform the duties. And it should be a law. Like there should be serious consequences if they don't or if they lie to us. Again, Biden's entire team lied to us for 4 years. Completely. Mitch McConnell's team has been lying to us for at least 3 years. And especially now. It's just unbelievable. And again, I don't understand their families. Why? After everything your husband, father, grandfather has done, this is how you want him remembered. Because this is how he's going to be remembered. This picture right here. Let me tell you something. That's not a real smile. That's an AI smile. Anyone disagree? I mean, honestly, I'm not going to hate on you if you do. I know I'm fired up, but I would bet a lot that AI put this weird random smile on his face. It's not natural at all. Number one, it's very strange looking. And that's even if any part of this picture is real. I'm not convinced it is, but if any part of it's real, that smile is not. If you look close, his wife is holding him up. Yeah, he can't hold himself up. It's crazy. People should have to answer for lying to us about this stuff. And they don't. Nobody from Biden's administration has had to answer for that. Nobody. And I guarantee you nobody from Mitch McConnell's will. Again, if he was anywhere close to as healthy as as they claim he is right now, he would put a video out. He ain't putting a video out because I guarantee you he doesn't even know his name. This is ridiculous. It's a joke. And is Monica on here? People in Kentucky, y'all need to be standing up and screaming about this and getting this fixed. It's horrible. But I saw this and I about fell out of my chair. It's like, what in the world? Because I've been screaming that they should have made him leave at least a year ago. It says 2023, so it's probably 2 years ago now at least. And here we are. And his wife, what was her name? Miss Chow? Mrs. Chow, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. But I think Judy's right. She's holding him up like that as best she can. You're lying to the American people, to everybody, and you're making your husband, this is what your husband's going to be remembered as. Weekend at Bernie's. That's what it is. For you youngins, that was a movie back in the day. It's Mitch McConnell, a U.S. senator out of Kentucky. You're right, Nancy. But anyway, the woman, that's his wife. Elaine Chow. But his entire family should be ashamed, and especially his wife. And everybody that's involved in lying, acting like he said these things when we know for a fact he didn't say any of that. No, I mean, KJ, you're I'm not convinced the picture is real at all either. If it is, it's not even a good fake. No, Judy, that's what I'm saying. If any of the photo is real, that smile is not. That smile is AI. The AI video clip, I haven't seen that. Hey, Georgia, how are you? We've talked about a couple of different things. Right now, we're talking about Mitch McConnell, who I'm not convinced is even alive, but if he is, he doesn't know his own name. And it's a disgrace to our country that we're being lied to about it, and that this man is supposed to be making major decisions for our country right now, and he can't even. The conspiracy theory, he's not cognitive at all. He doesn't even know his name. But they're telling us that he's doing all okay. He's just in a rehab facility, gaining strength back, and going to be back on the Senate floor in no time. He didn't say any of that. There's no way. I mean, look at this picture. If this picture is real, tell me that man knows who he even is. There's no way. I'll forgive you this time, Nancy. But I just, this stuff has got to change. We got to do something about this mess. That's okay. I seen the AI video now. I'm not playing that. That's just, oh. Oh, that video is as real as this picture, though. Or that's as real as him being able to carry on a conversation. That man ain't carrying on a conversation. Hold on. People were sending me some pictures. I want to make sure they're real. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Oh yeah, here's the one with the newspaper. He's holding up the Sunday Times like it's a proof of life picture, and that's exactly what. And a lot of people were saying this when I first saw it. Exactly what I thought. Like it's like a kidnapped victim showing proof of life. That's extremely sus, as you kids say today, in itself. All right, hold on. Dadgummit, what happened? I wanted to compare that picture with the other one. Let's see, we got that one. Well, it's not letting me save that. Oh, I know what to do. He's up here where we can compare them. Definitely a lot of filters in the new picture because the skin looks a lot smoother. I'm trying to see if the wrinkles match up around the mouth. And they don't. That's an AI, at least an AI smile. That's what I figured. That's what I wanted to see. Let me see if I can find a better head-on shot of him. Okay. Yeah, this one definitely. That's two completely different mouths. You see, the one on the left, he has a crease down the middle of his lip. Over here, not at all. Even if it is filtered, you can't, like, nothing. And then on the left, you see he's got a really big wrinkle right here on his chin. And then this AI one, not a wrinkle at all. And again, even if that was heavily filtered, you'd be able to see a wrinkle like you do around his mouth. So again, I don't know whether the entire picture is AI, but the smile is AI. And that's, I mean, the nose looks pretty different as well. Yeah, at least the smile's AI, which is what I would have bet. I just wanted to check it out more. Nancy Guthrie, I don't know. That's still one of the strangest cases of all time for me. I have no idea. Very strange. No, I mean, as far as Mitch McConnell's politics, policies, and things like that, when he was actually cognitive, I've never had an issue with him. I mean, I'm sure definitely some things I didn't agree with, but for the most part, I mean, I've liked him. I've never had a problem with him. This is not about that at all. This is about us being completely lied to, and that's BS, and that shouldn't be happening. benefit. What's the benefits of hiding it? They don't want to take the chance of losing the seat. The Republicans, and I'm a Republican. I mean, I'm as a Republican as it gets. I'm just being honest. They don't want to take a chance of losing the seat. That's what it is. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That's BS, and it shouldn't be happening. They should not be allowed to lie to us about when one of our representatives or senators literally can't say their own name. We shouldn't be lied to about that. Where did you send me a message? Did you send it through my website or on TikTok? If you sent it on TikTok, I probably didn't. Oh yeah. Okay, I did see that. Yeah, I did get it. I hadn't had a chance to look into that, but that is very interesting, and I'm going to. Here, I'll send that to my team right now. I should have did that the other day. Yeah, I appreciate you sending me that. Yeah, the AI stuff is very concerning as far as like not being able to tell what's real and what's not. And I'm against big government. I'm against big government. I mean, always have been, always will be. So I'm very careful when I say that certain laws should be passed, right? But I 100% believe, I mean, Congress is going to have to do something and they need to pass some laws immediately in regards to AI, as far as if you post a AI picture or video or anything like that, it should have to say it. Like it should be against the law to post something that's AI, completely AI, and you acting as if it's real. And nobody should have a problem with that. I'm not against AI videos and pictures and stuff. They're funny. But there's going to be times to where it's going to be something serious and we're not going to be able to tell the difference. And that's not good. Yeah, I'll check out his TikTok videos. All right, but I'm going to run because it's getting late, and I'm watching that. I want to watch that podcast tonight. But I appreciate each and every one of you for being on here. I truly mean that. I can't do any of this by myself. For sure, it takes all of you and more. All I ask you to do come on. All I ask you to do is follow, subscribe, watch my stuff, listen to my podcast, watch them all the way through, like them, comment on them, and repost them. Those are the things that help push them out and bring more awareness to what we do. So if you could do those things, I'd really appreciate it. Tell your friends, family. If you're not subscribed on YouTube to my YouTube channel, make sure you go subscribe there. It's Agent D Baker over there. Again, Wednesday Night Live, all my Wednesday Night Lives, including this one, obviously, coming up 8 p.m. Central, is exclusively on YouTube. So that's the only place my live will be on Wednesday nights. Mondays and Fridays are on all the platforms. Wednesday nights exclusively on YouTube. So make sure you go subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification button so you can be notified when I go live and when I release my full podcast, because that's also one of the only places you can catch my full podcast is YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Keep a check on the website, agentdbaker.com. And we're going to be putting a lot of information out about the upcoming peaceful protest that we have planned in Hamilton, Alabama, in reference to the ramp, the cult, the child predator cult up there. So keep a check on that. And if you or anyone that you know is interested in being a guest on the podcast, go through the website. There's a button on there. You can't miss it. Fill out the information, send it to us, and we'll get back with you. If you have any information, whether it be on current cases I'm currently covering or something you'd like to see me cover, again, I'd prefer you go through the website, fill out the little form there. Very simple. Name, email address, and then the message. And that's the one place where I can guarantee you we will see your message. If you send a message on the platforms, I can't guarantee you I'll see it because I just get so many, I miss a lot of them. So try to go through the website. What am I missing? I think that's about it. And I will get that. I'll try my best to get the stuff on the peaceful protest updated on the website tomorrow sometime. Got some really good podcasts coming up. I'll be recording a podcast interviewing Carson Burks this week. And I don't know exactly when I'll get it out, but I'll get it out soon. And also got one coming up with CC Dixon Moreno. I'm looking real forward to that. I think it's going to be awesome. And got one planned very soon with Ashley Cole, which was the main investigator over Josh Stapleton's case. And I'm missing somebody. There's one or two more that we've got planned. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, a lot of good podcasts planned. So I'm looking forward to all of those. But I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday night. and great rest of your week. And I'll see y'all back Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central on YouTube. Gloria, the podcast I'm talking about and I'm going to watch is Heart of Dixie. What was it? Orange Beach Tyranny? Yeah. Heart of Dixie, Orange Beach Tyranny on YouTube. And it's, they talk a lot about the Danny Williams case out of Orange Beach. Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D. Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and now increasingly online. Before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.